let's talk about two of the most popular casino games out there, European and American roulette. I mean, they look almost identical, right? But believe it or not, one of them is designed to take your money twice as fast. And it all comes down to one tiny little hidden detail. So you walk up to the tables, and at first glance, you'd swear they're the same game. You've got the same layout, the bets all have the same names, and most important, they offer the exact same payouts when you win. But that's exactly where the illusion is.
That's right. Even with identical payouts, one of these games is going to cost you nearly double to play in the long run. So which one is it? To figure that out, we've got to pop the hood and see what's really going on.
Okay, to find the secret, we have to stop thinking about the bets for a second and start thinking about what the wheel actually is. And the answer, well, it's surprisingly simple.
Here's the key thing you need to get. Roulette isn't really a game of bets. At its very core, it's a probability machine. And the most important part of that machine, the one thing that controls everything, is the total number of pockets that the ball can possibly land in.
And this is how the casino builds its advantage. You know, the famous house edge. It literally lives in the gap between the true odds, which are based on the number of pockets, and the payouts they actually give you. That mismatch is the casino's built-in guarantee that they win over time.
So what is this big difference in the number of pockets? Well, it's almost laughably simple, but when you look at the math, it's absolutely devastating for the player.
Okay, here it is. The European wheel has the numbers 1 through 36 plus that single green 0. That's a total of 37 pockets. Now, the American wheel also has 1 through 36, but it adds 2 green pockets, a 0 and a double 0. That gives it a total of 38 pockets. That's it. That's the whole secret. So, one little extra pocket. I mean, how much of a difference can that possibly make, right? Well, this is where the math gets really, really interesting. And for the player, really expensive. On the European wheel, with its 37 pockets, the house edge is a nice, clean 2.70%. What this means is that, on average, for every $100 you bet, you can expect to lose about $2.70 over time. Now, just watch what happens when we add that one extra pocket. On the American wheel, with its 38 pockets, the house edge jumps all the way to 5.26%. It's not just a little bit more, it's nearly double. That one extra green pocket makes the game twice as costly to play. And it all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea. Small structural changes create large, long-term consequences. Adding that one little 0-0 pocket is such a tiny tweak to the game's structure, but for you, the player, the financial consequences are just enormous. Okay, so the next logical question is pretty obvious, right? If the American wheel has more pockets and it's harder to win, why on earth don't the payouts go up to make up for it? Well, let's look at a single number bet. On both wheels, if you win, they pay you 35 to 1. But a truly fair payout would actually be different for each wheel. For the European wheel, a fair payout would be 36 to 1. For the American wheel, it would be 37 to 1. The casino just pays 35 to 1 on both and quietly pockets that much bigger difference on the American game. And the reason for this is purely historical. See, that 35 to 1 payout was set way back when the wheels only had 36 numbers. When the casinos cleverly added the 0 and later the double 0 to give themselves an edge, they just never bothered to adjust the payout. They kept the old rate and just pocketed their new, much larger advantage. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? How does this actually affect the way you should think about playing the game? Well, for one thing, it shows why betting systems just can't work. A lot of people believe they can beat roulette with some clever system, but it's totally impossible. Why? Because no matter what your betting strategy is, you can't change the physical structure of the game. You can't magically remove a pocket from the wheel. The wheel has no memory, so all that talk about hot or cold numbers is just an illusion. The math is fixed against you before you even place a bet. So let's be super clear here. Choosing the European wheel doesn't mean you're going to win. The house still has its edge, but it does mean your money is going to last a lot longer. You're still losing in the long run. You're just losing at half the speed. And this brings us to one last, really interesting thought. This whole idea of a small, almost insignificant structural change that ends up doubling the cost, that's a powerful concept. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other extra pockets, those tiny overlooked details that completely change the odds, are hiding in plain sight all around us?